Well, hello there, slot car adventurers, back again for another epic episode. In fact, this is the first of the last 3 episodes remaining in what is now going to be the very final season of that which has become known as Hughes Garage Slot Car Adventures. And what an adventure it has been, starting off in the garage, finishing the layout in there, making the choice to move it into this room, changing it up a bit, starting the scenery from scratch. Lots of very cool features coming along. And for these final 3 episodes, we've now arrived at the business end. So, yes sirree, this is definitely going to take 3 big episodes to do. In fact, I'm telling you now, we're not going to get it completely finished. There's going to be a lot of detail left to do. The rock band thing is going to happen much later. The theme park, actually, I said a Red Bull theme park, but here's a little secret. I was only hinting. The whole layout is one big theme park. That's what's really going on here. And some of you picked it. Some of you said, I know what you're doing there. Yes, the idea is it's a slot car roller coaster, as we've done those crazy zany videos back in the past. So there you go. I hope it makes a lot more sense to everybody now what's going on here. The idea is the whole layout is one giant theme park, not just the Red Bull section. The whole thing is a raceway set within a theme park, and hence why you've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, little nods here and there to some pop culture, movie references, TV show references, etc. And there's lots more of that yet to come. So that's what's really going on with this layout. But without any further ado, we've got 3 big episodes to do to get to the finish line. Let's get cracking and let's start building the Mineshaft tunnel. This is going to be quite the adventure. Let's go. Okay, to kick off proceedings, let's remove this top section of track to give us plenty of room to work with. No obstructions in our way. And with that all out of the way, we've got a nice blank canvas to start working with. I'm going to give this a bit of a vacuum first, although we're going to make quite a mess anyway, but I'm also going to remove some of these shoulders. I'm not using those are not going to be there, and I think we're going to cut that piece of track that goes into the pit lane there. I think I'm going to remove this because we need all this real estate for what's going here. So there's more stuff going here. We've got a tunnel coming through here. There's a cross tunnel going through here. So there's going to be detail galore here, detail galore here, massive detail out here. And as we come through our mineshaft tunnel, there's going to be detail either side of the track. So very, very, very detail oriented, this one. Lots of fun, and wait till you see all the little bits and pieces. Shall I reveal them now? No, you'll have to wait till later. Yeah, first up we need to get our baseboards in place and start marking out a few ideas, start cutting those out. And then I think the first thing to do is start constructing the beams using craftwood, you know, the mineshaft props, or I don't know what the technical terms are, but you know what I mean. And just get those in place to get a basic rudimentary idea of how it's coming together. And then we'll start to add all the plaster work. Yeah, lots of plaster work for this. Wow, this is going to be a task, but I've been waiting for this one for weeks. This is going to be extremely, extremely rewarding. let's keep going, eh? Now, while I'm at it, I've just finished this corner piece for the Dunlop corner. The Dunlop control tower will sit in place. So we'll get this into position, drill a couple of holes for the wires, wire up the lights at a later time, but I'm going to add a few extra pieces here. Definitely coming along, looking good. And there we have it, all in place. Now there's a lot more detail to go in. I'm still deciding what to put here. Probably some tyre walls. It is the Dunlop corner. I might even put a Marshall post here as well on this corner. Not too sure yet, but it's looking good. All sorted, all happening. And let's move on with the mineshaft. Here we have all the pieces removed that I wanted to get rid of. This track has been cut. I touched up the edge with some black paint, moved the shoulders back to here, got all this real estate to work with now. Brought this back a little bit, plenty of space to work with here. I believe the covered grandstand will be going here, as well as the Pepsi billboard behind it and whatever. But over here, this is where we're currently working. We're now clear, clean, ready to go. It's a blank canvas. So let's build a mineshaft tunnel. Here we go. Here's our initial pieces. These are going to be the tunnel mouths, one at each end. And they're going to look like typical mineshaft supports. That's not going to stand up on its own, is it? You get the idea. There'll be sort of something like that. Another one at the other end. So I'm going to glue these together. This will set the tone for the rest of the structure. Then I'm just going to make however many it requires throughout the inside of the tunnel. And there we have it. We've got our entrance and our exit. And now I've got a whole bunch of more pieces coming together, cutting out. Yeah, the creative juices are flowing now. I've got some great ideas. I've got a pretty good idea how to do this. And what I'm using here, I'm recycling all the detail that was under the old bridge. So it's not going to waste. It's all going to get used in this tunnel build. And it's going to look pretty cool. Even all these bits and pieces, these, all this roughness. I'll give it another quick touch up, but this is going to look great. It'll add to the charm of it all, if you want to call it that. But I'll keep going, cutting out pieces, and then we'll actually start assembling them on site. Okay, I've got all my bits and pieces put together here. We've got our basic supports for the tunnel. I'm going to glue these all together now. I'm going to basically go on gut instinct and feel. I'll use some of these to glue on the top. Reusing some pieces from the old bridge, and we'll see what we end up with. And here's the basic rudimentary structure for the tunnel. Now to create the cross tunnel. So this piece will be set back a little bit, and I'm going to add these angle bits on top just to create the shape, see how it looks. Okay, day 2 of this build. More pieces here. There's one support coming together for the cross tunnel section. This is going to have an interesting feature in it, and I think it'll put a smile on people's faces when they see it revealed. Beauty of this is we don't have to make the edges too accurate. The more rickety and wonky it looks, the better, I think. It adds that sense of danger, like the whole thing could collapse any moment. Things don't have to be perfectly straight. They can be off on angles here and there. Higgledy-piggledy, if you want to use the phrase. So let's continue on. What I'm doing here is I'm increasing the height of these supports by 1 centimetre with each one. So I want it to sort of the whole thing to sort of open up as it moves away from the cross point. Could look interesting. And on that note, let me keep going. I've got about 2 or 3 more of these to do, and then we can assemble them. And now I'm adding these little corner bits with all the little offcuts. I'm just putting some 45-degree cuts in place, big dab of glue. And I'm just placing these in the corner as such. Like these guys. So that's giving it more of a mine tunnel vibe, I think, and I'll probably do the same thing to all of these supports. But again, there'll be different size timber. It'll be higgledy-piggledy and all over the place. Want to give it the same kind of vibe as the chute build. You know, things that aren't straight, they're at an angle. Continue that vibe on, because this is probably the last part of that whole section of the layout. The cars come roaring out of here and they're back into the normal part of the layout. So coming along nicely. Love the way this is looking, really old world, old mine. We'll be doing some paint touch-ups and adding some extra grunge to it. So far, so good. Exceeding my expectations. Very happy. And with these pieces in place, thanks to our Gorilla Super Glue Gel. Man, I'm going through a lot of these, I tell you. Wow. It's starting to take shape. So there's our cross tunnel. So on the back corner here, this will actually be the opening. You'll see detail all through there, and that will continue on through that side. And yeah, you can see how it progressively gets larger, and the idea from that is, coming from this side, it looks more gigantic as we pan by. Look at that. And here we are at day 3, putting the final piece on, I believe. I think it's the final piece. Just let that set. It's looking like quite the schmozzle from the outside, but next thing to do is to take this out of here into the garage and just paint all the pieces that need painting, touch up some of these cuts, and yeah, all this rough stuff we'll get rid of where it's obviously super glue and make it look a bit more presentable. It's looking great as it is. Well, less the unpainted craftwood, but yes, it definitely has taken on a Mineshaft kind of vibe, as you saw in that last little shot. Bit spooky actually with that sound effect. I'm going to start the plaster work today once I get all this repainted, and that's going to be interesting because again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm sort of going to lay it over and let it just naturally sag in between the beams, so from the inside it'll look like the earth is sort of coming down on top of you, and that'll get all painted. We'll get some fairly earthy, mine-like colours. I think some ochres and yellows, sort of yellow ochres and things like that for soil. We'll grunge it up. I've got some rocks that I might paint like coal or something. That's one little idea. Don't know if it's necessary, but as usual, it's freestyle. You're making it up as you go. Okay, what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we do next? And the thing just evolves. It just slowly evolves. Is that on? Yes, it is. There we go, folks. Now, I'm going to leave one board here. I've typically got two on the sides, but I thought here I'll just have the one. That'll look extra dangerous. I'm pretty happy with that. All the angled corner pieces are in. Now, some I've actually cut and put in there as a brace. Others I've just glued on the outside. I think it still works. It's certainly expedited the process. But once you take the camera and run it through there, it looks great. It looks really, really effective. So let's let that glue dry properly, and then we'll very carefully take this into the garage. Here we go. Right, successfully transferred into the garage. I've got my paint. It's the same house wall paint, Domino, yes, Taubman's Easy Coat. And I have not shaken this tin up. It's been sitting for a few days. We've got our gobbly forming on top. Got my little brush ready. So folks, no need to see this, I guess. I might show a couple of little dabbity dabs, but I'm going to paint all the pieces that need painting. No big deal. So let's get cracking. And there you have it, Slot Car Adventurers. The skeleton of this Mineshaft complex is all being touched up and painted. It's looking pretty cool, looking like old distressed timber beams, etc. It's really, I don't think we can lose now. It looks great as it is. It just looks like an old mine shaft. So mission accomplished so far. The next step though is to start rolling out the plaster sheets, and I'm just going to drape it over each section and let it sort of sag down like it's all the ground, the earth, the mountain above them sinking through the rafters. And I'm going to be looking at some paint schemes for that to make it look like an old dusty old mine dirt wall. So this part is complete. Let's move on to the plaster work. Wish me luck.
Beware the hazards. Road safety affects everybody. Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the wheel.
Oh, a package has arrived during the making of this mineshaft tunnel. Will we do an unboxing? Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh, show us your package.
Wow! All right, this one I've had on back order since way back in February. Well, I didn't think it was going to get here. Everybody else has gotten theirs, but I didn't get mine, and finally it's arrived, which, yeah, leaves me thinking, why put in a back order? Why put in a pre-order? Yeah, anyway, it's here. I'm not going to go all whingy whiny. So there's my paperwork. Yes, thank you. And here it is. So it is, oh, let's get the sticky off. Bum, 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 bum. I finally got my Batmobile. Hooray! Yippity, yippity, holy moly. That's a nice package. That is beautiful. Pop it open. It's, I think it's larger than usual. The car is quite impressive, substantial. Oh, look at the detail down the side. That's terrific. Yeah, let me get that, let the sun shine in a bit more. There we go. And now we've got the axle box installed. We can run it straight away. Don't have to worry about chips or anything. Digital chips installed. That's terrific. All right, well, I've got all of the Scalextric Batmobiles now, except for the tumbler. I believe they had a tumbler way back. If I find one, I think I'll grab it too, because I'm on a bit of a Batmobile kick at the moment. I've been buying up these collectible ones. They're 1/24 scale. So I think we might have a special Batman segment in a future video. Run all the slot cars. We might even do a Batman display somewhere on the layout if we could fit it there. We've got everything else happening. Why not have a Batmobile, a Batman display? It'd be pretty cool. So there you go, folks. Finally got my Batmobile. Late to the party, but here I am. I think that's very, very well done, Scalextric. Very well done. That's a real collectible. Looks great. Yeah, really pleased. Awesome. Right, I've got my baseboards cut, the edges all painted up, my red and white stripy stripes in place, and I'm just putting everything into position, make sure that it all works, banging my head on the TV set above again. That wasn't too bad that time, I'm still here. Peel off all this masking tape. So I'm going to bring in the whole structure. It would have dried by now. I'll bring it in and sit it in place just to see how it's all sitting together. And then we'll start working on the ground cover inside the mineshaft tunnels. So I've got some grey ballast put aside, some brown ballast put aside, a whole bunch of little rocks. Still trying to decide what colours to apply to the dirty mine walls. I keep thinking yellow, like a yellow ochre, orange ochre or something. Anyway, there we go. Nice. So that's all that. I'll back in a sec. I'll bring the structure in. And here we are in position, tentatively. Looking pretty cool. Well, looking like crap really, but you know what I mean. It's gonna look cool. It's gonna be a whole mountaintop on top of this thing, a whole other level. Have a look inside here. So it's definitely starting to look like a mine shaft. I think so. If you don't agree, I disagree with you. Yeah, that's looking great. There's our tunnel. Something very cool going on in there. There's something very cool going on in here. And even cooler going on outside. Wait till you see what I have in store. So that's coming along really, really well. Very happy with it. So I guess the next stage is to flip this thing over upside down, finish off the interior. Get the walls properly sculpted. Get all the colour in there, paint them, and then we'll start doing the ground cover. While this is in place, I'll get a pencil and I'll sketch around exactly where the wall meets the baseboard. That way I know that's the only area I have to sprinkle, because the rest, no need for anything here, because you've got a track over the top here, a mountain, it'll be all covered over. Except for here, we need to do this section here because it is an opening and the mountain continues up. So, yes, rather tricky, starting to make sense. And I think about now I'm about a little bit excited. a little bit excited. A little bit. Oh, it's a nasty day outside. In an hour's time, we're going to go on Wildman's live stream Thursday. I better check that I've got the devices charged. Oh dear. All right, see you in a couple of hours. Just like this, sprinkling a little bit of ground cover. Just starting to get the basic rudimentary bits and pieces here. Coming along nicely. Now I'm just going to use the brown ballast here. I'm not going to give away too much. I've got some surprise little... Yes, I've got some, I guess you could say, some surprise features going in this section of the cross tunnel. And probably won't be able to show them this week, but definitely in the big reveal at the end, I'll show the whole finished lot in one big reveal video and see if I can blow your minds. But for now, just getting started with the ground cover. And a little bit more in there. There we are, got it. I'll just use the vacuum to get rid of any of these. Now there's going to be like definitely sort of a cliff edge or embankment, if you want to call it, along here. So that'll go to here. The tunnel starts about here. It's on an angle. Over to this point here. Okay, so that's about right. If you imagine coming through the tunnel, we're seeing that sort of brown ore on the side of the road. Now through here, I'm going to use some of this for reasons which will become more clear at a later point. So I'll keep going with this, and I think we're just about done for this video for this week. We're approaching, what, half an hour? We're at the half-hour mark. And what lies ahead? Well, I guess I've got to do the painting. Might show a bit of that. We'll see how we go. Actually, Slot Car Adventures, I'm not going to show you the painting. I've had a bit of an unmitigated disaster here. Now, with all this cheap-ass Amazon Chinese-made rolls of plaster, let me show you those. Over here, oh, look at all this supplies. Here we go. So, they came in packets like this. That seemingly works great, but what happened as soon as I flipped this upside down and started working on the inside, this stuff is supposed to be totally rigid when it dries, and as it dries, sorry, well, it is dyed. Look at it. It doesn't dry solid, doesn't hold its shape. Well, guess what happened? It just started all falling off the frame. So I couldn't add any extra plaster, and I got a little bit in here and there. I tried to paint some of it and it just lost its shape and just came apart. So I flipped it back over the right way. You can see where I tried to start painting the ceiling there. Like, it's gonna look great when it's finished, but this stuff was, I've got to say, it was a bad choice. So I hope you haven't jumped on Amazon during the course of this episode and gone, oh, we'll get some of that. I would say, nah. The other stuff I used was the proper hobby stuff, the more expensive stuff, and once it dried, it held its shape. It didn't go floppy again. Like, look at that. That was totally soaked for easily a minute, and now look at it. It's garbage. So, folks, don't go the cheap route. A lesson learned for all of us. It's garbage. It's more trouble than it's worth. Now I've got a nightmare ahead of me. Either take it off, chuck it out and buy proper stuff and start again, or maybe go out and buy some modelling clay or some sculptor mould, throw it over the top of it, let it set hard, then flip it over and work on the inside. I think I'll do that because I'm not happy with just the cloth finish. It looks very sort of military, you know, tent kind of thing. It's not looking like soil, but See, even the roof up there, look at it, it's a disaster. The joins are coming apart. It's awful, absolutely awful. So this is going to be a hell of a lot more difficult than I had assumed. I'm ready to throw it all in the bin, quite frankly, right this moment. I've had a gutful. It's like I've said before, I'll show you the disasters when they happen. Nobody's perfect. Nothing is certainly perfect on this channel. This is a disaster in my book. So what I've done is, rather than waste the paint, I mixed up a special colour. I've just dumped it on top, and yeah, I'll get some clay. I think I'll get some clay and put a thin coat of a modeller's clay over the top and sides, and hopefully that'll settle it down. If that doesn't work, I think I will tear it all off, toss it out, get some proper stuff and start again. But at least the frame is perfect. The frame, well, it was perfect. Now it's got plaster all over it, so it's got to have a repaint. Yeah, not fun. All right, folks, so let's go in next door and have a look at what I've done in there, and we'll wrap it up for the week, eh? Now, as well as the Batmobile, this arrived today as well. Got these off Etsy. So here are these Scalextric guardrails, leftovers that Pat sent me. Good old Pat. And but I've only got one of the Scalextric clips left from the actual purchased one. So I had a scour in there, and on Etsy, I think it was Etsy, this wonderful person 3D prints them, sells them in bags of 100, can you believe? So yeah, even put it on that. Hi Shane, happy racing. Yeah, thanks mate, if that's you, thank you. This is going to go to good use. So we're going to get all these installed on the corner there. That's fantastic. And let's have a look at what I've been doing. I've been a busy person. So I've got my basic ground cover in place. Looks like it doesn't make any sense at all at the moment. Yeah, I get that. It will when everything's in place. There's a lot more to go on it. So this area is the sort of the cross tunnel leading outside. So in here, I'm going to have a whole bunch of boulders here and a whole bunch of boulders here. There's going to be something coming through there. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. If I ever get the bloody tunnel made. I'm sticking with the brown sort of dirty, filthy looking ballast on the inside of the tunnel. I'm retaining my white lines either side, but as you can see, it's very rough. We don't want it to be a perfect straight line through there. But yeah, in particular, this is going to look very cool. Oh, there's going to be a unique feature over here. It was Wildman's idea, so if you don't like it, I'm sure you will. Wildman came up with an idea regarding the use of some toothpicks. There's a little clue for you. We'll see how that works out. So folks, that's about all I've got to show you this week. Yeah, I'm scratching my head at this point. Saturday morning, I've got to edit this video now. Gosh, I've also got to drive to the other side of Brisbane to pick up all the 3D printed goodies. Oh, wow. Well, I was going to say wait till you see, but I'm not showing you till the very end, okay? But it'll be definitely worthwhile hanging around to see. So I'll do that this afternoon. I better get upstairs and get editing. Otherwise you won't have anything to watch tonight, which is right this moment. Yeah. Don't worry about the tunnel. I'll sort it out. It'll be all good. It'll be all good. I just thought I'd slap some paint on it and I'll be all done. Silly me. I'm a silly Billy. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit more effort than that. So I guess we'll see you next week, as if I don't throw it all in the bin. Yeah. It's really thrown me. I'll go out, I'll get some, when I head down the south side, I'll get some modelling clay or sculptor mould. I think Jamal told me to get, he likes using sculptor mould. I'll have to try some of that. But I am very excited about this. It's coming along. This is level 1. This so far is looking great. Yeah, there will be trees and bushes and all sorts of little bits and pieces. I better get some more inserts cut out, take it all the way to the pit lane garages, because we're going to use all this. There's going to be a feature here that might have something to do with this. Yeah, I think I said that earlier in a different episode, didn't I? That this was all Mad Max stuff. So there's a bit of a clue. Yeah, you already knew that, but what kind of Mad Max stuff could it be? Yeah, what could we put there that would be totally awesome? I don't know. You'll have to see. All right, folks, well, thanks for hanging around. Saturday night here in Australia, Saturday morning everywhere else-ish. I guess we'll call it a wrap, and I'll see you next week on Hughes Garage Slot Car Adventures.